Happy Friday. How's your Friday morning and Friday evening and Friday afternoon going? I trust that you are having amazing, fantastic, and absolutely wonderful Friday. Okay, today is Friday. Friday is I do IG live in English. Thursday, I do IG live in Japanese. All right, so let's begin. It's a March. March is a month that you can experience change. We go through so many changes. For example, weather, right? Are you guys experiencing the weather changing? Yes. Where I live, one day is like 18 degrees Celsius. Next day can be 4. Or we might do have a snow after a really sunny day. Last week, I saw a lot of people, they are wearing short sleeve and shorts. And then today, I am pretty sure those people, they put the jacket on and long pants on, right? So, weather changes and our lives changes. I grew up in Japan. March is, a lot of people go through change March. In Japan, we graduate school March. Start new grade at April. All right? And then, or because of graduate school, and some people, they start some like new, fresh young guy, they're starting to work for the company April, right? So, and then my experience, 1995, so it's like 28 years ago, right? Around March, this time of the year, 28 years ago, I was going through change, big change too. I was getting ready to come to Canada. Right? That I had my first passport. I was like 24 years old, just about 25. And then that's a big change too, right? For life. I never been anywhere outside Japan. But I decided to come to Canada. It's a lot of change too. And then, when you experience change, how do you feel? Exciting? Anxious? Worry? Yeah, right? So I am talking about today is about how to cope with change, because a lot of people, when change comes, they feel anxious. They feel worried. Yes, including me too, right? We're human. I am human. I do have emotions, right? Of course, I don't just feel excitement. Of course, I feel excited, but at the same time, I do feel fear, right? But fear and anxious, but I don't like fear and anxious taking over my life, because I know how to cope with change. So anyway, you know what? At this point, I am talking to all by myself, but that's okay. I'm okay with whatever. I'm going through it. I'm practicing how to cope with change anyway, right? So, do you remember everybody had the same experience. 2020, March. Think about it. What's happened? What was happening 4 years ago? It's already 4 years ago. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. We had to face the big change all over the world. The COVID happened. And then that was a big change. Unknown. Uncertain. And then the whole world, it's like we felt fear. Because it's unknown. And then, right, why we feel fear about change. Just, have you ever thought about it? Why we feel fear about change? Right? Why we felt fear 2020 March? There is a reason. Because uncertainty. Not quite sure what's going on. What's going to happen? It's a new virus. There were lots of information. It just like we're flying by, right? Every day, different informations. And if you just starting to believe, if you're starting to react every single information, you would make yourself crazy, right? So I chose the decision that I am not really watching news and information. Not everything. I chose what to watch, what to believe, right? Because when change happen, right? We lose ourselves. We can't think, right? We can't think because it's uncertainty. Oh, here you are, Asuka-chan. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. 久しぶり, Asuka-chan. Yeah, so uncertainty. I'm talking about uncertainty. Change comes with uncertainty. Not quite sure. So uncertainty, change introduce unknowns. Yeah, change introduce unknowns. Making it difficult outcomes or feel in control of the situation. Right? Yes, change introduce unknowns and making it difficult outcomes. Yeah. And then to feel in control of the situation. Right? So what 2020 when COVID happens, we felt exactly that way. Right? So we just didn't know the outcomes when it happened because it was unknown. COVID virus was unknown. And then just what's going to happen? Are we all going to die? Right? Like we're starting to just kind of be surrounded with fear because we don't know the outcomes. Just nobody couldn't see. And then we couldn't control the situation because it's never happened. That things never happen, right? So when that things happens, right? Okay, not necessarily COVID, but I am just telling the example of COVID because we know it. We went through the same situation, same feelings, right? 4 years ago. That's why it's easier for us to feel same way too. Right? So when change happens, uncertainty happens, and you don't know the outcomes, you just starting to worry, anxious. What are you going to do? You will come. I don't say COVID, but you are living. When you live, going through your life, change happens. For sure, right? Any situation. You might get sick. You might get divorced. Or you lose someone, it's very important. Or you lose house, you lose job. Who knows, right? Change happens. And then those things will destroy people's lives, right? But it happens. How can we deal with it? How can we cope with it, right? When something happens, it's always good to treat at the beginning, right? It's always said, have you ever heard about this? When somebody died of cancer, stage 4. When somebody when doctor diagnosed it, you don't feel good, you get sick all the time, you're wondering why, you went to see doctor said, it's too late. Doctor said, you should have come 3 years ago. It's too late, right? If you get it treated earlier, we could have saved your life. That could happen too. So it's the same things, right? So when change comes, they don't come all at once, actually. Change comes with small, tiny steps. it's coming. Sometimes it comes without the sound of the footsteps. It comes as little tiny pieces. And then, believe it or not, you are part of the problem. You're causing the change too. We want to ignore it, right? We want to ignore it, but we are a problem too. But if we notice earlier, right? And then we can treat it. And then it's a problem, it can be small. There is a solution. I'm going to talk about solution. Thank you so much for staying with me, Asuka-chan. So, all right. First, number one, acknowledge emotions. Acknowledge emotions. Recognize and accept your feelings about the change. It's normal to feel anxious and uncertain. Okay? You gotta acknowledge emotions first. Just don't ignore your feeling. It's so important. When something comes, it's okay to feel anxious. Tell yourself. You feel like, oh my gosh, I'm worried. I'm sad. I'm upset. And then just don't ignore it. Do not deny the emotions. It's first you got to accept because it comes from you. And when you're upset, and just don't blame on your feeling. You tell yourself that, I understand, you're human. I understand you're upset. And that was the very hard things for you, right? It's okay. When COVID happened, I was anxious at the beginning because I was told that you're not allowed to work. You have a hair salon. You're not allowed to work. Here you are, Tessa. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for coming. Means like, what? I'm not allowed to work when COVID happened. How about the income? I started to feel anxious, right? But I am so-called positive mind person. So I feel ashamed. I shame anxious. I shame worried. And I grew up like, you know what? Don't cry. You gotta stand up and start walking. Don't feel anxious. Keep walking. I grew up like that mentality. So I just like, you know what? I felt anxious, but I just like, it's okay, Yuko. It's unknown. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to feel anxious today. I'll give yourself a time. It's called self-care time, right? It's called self-care. I'm feeling amazing. It's self-care time. It's all right to get upset. It's okay to feel worried because emotion, you remember, you know that. Emotion changes. Emotions goes up and down, right? You never stay the same way. So I told my emotion, that's okay. So I recognize my feeling and I acknowledge them. And I just like, it's okay, I'm a human, And then it's most of the time, when you leave an hour, 24 hours, maybe 2 days, maybe 1 week, situation will change and your emotion change, right? So anyways, that's number 2 and number 1 solutions. And number 2 is focus on what you can control, right? So yeah, like focus on what you can control. So identify aspects of change within your control and concentrate managing those, right? There are something you can control, but there are the other things you cannot control, right? I am kind of using example of the COVID situation 4 years ago, March, right? So here's my story. Do you go grocery shopping? I do. I do believe you can learn life lessons at grocery shopping. You can learn anything at grocery shopping. So, the COVID happens, there was something that I couldn't control. Grocery shopping. We had to, we had to line up outside the grocery stores. And then, yes, we have to survive. And the store limited the number of the people they let in, right? And when I go there sometimes, it's like, oh my gosh, how long do I have to wait? There are long lineup. March, I remember it was so cold, snowing outside in the morning. And then it's just like long lineup. And then like, can I control? I cannot control the lineup, right? And then there's no point that I complain that first I react. It's okay to feel your emotion, right? React like, oh my gosh, that's a long lineup. How long should I wait? It's okay. It's okay. And then you just say, you know what? And then you just kind of switch your mind. And then you can just tell yourself that focus what can I control in these situations. It's a long lineup. What can I control? And I cannot be jumping on the first line. People will hate it. And I cannot change the people. Some people, I can see obviously they were angry, bad mood, complaining, and then breathing heavily, right? And I couldn't control those people. And then so I just like, okay, what should I do? But I can control how I feel. I realize that. Or I can control how I see, right? So anyway, hold on. Collagen time. So something said, I asked myself, and then I just like, I can control what I see. I can control how I feel. Great question brings great answer, right? Great question brings great answer. If I had questioned myself that, right? Like just if I ask myself, this is horrible. What's going to happen from today? It's already like long lineup. I don't know, like the situations. It's horrible. What should I do? Any bad things will happen, right? If I have that question, of course, I'm going to have that kind of bad answers, right? So I knew it because I've been studying it, right? I've been just, some of my friends, thanks to Tessa Marie, teaching me how to bring my mind in a better way, how to grow, empower myself too. So I just ask my question. And then I realized that, okay. So I switched my mind, and then my intention, whatever the situation is, my intention is have fun. Okay, whatever the situation, my intention, I focus. My intention is have fun. All right. So, okay, have fun. That's my intention, right? So you just look at the people at the lineup, and I spot one lady. It was so cold. It was like snowing and just wind and everything. We were outside, and I noticed the one lady. She was wearing, right, the yoga pants, very thin, ankle showing, and she's got the Crocs. She had a very, very thin jacket, right? And she was doing like this. It's cold. And I just that's kind of funny. It was funny to look at her. And then I just what were you thinking? It's cold. Why you dress like that? Outside, you had to be lined up. You have to wait outside. It's kind of funny that I was just watching her from the back. It was kind of funny how she reacted. Obviously, I could see she was frozen. And she was in bad mood. Don't you find it's kind of funny, people's reaction? You know, we are funny individual. We're very funny animals. So I was just observing her, and then like it's just so funny. And the other people, it was so cold. And then in the morning, what's going to happen? We really want to go washing, right? You can't use washing. We had to stay outside. So I can see some lady was saying, and she was doing pee-pee dance. It was so funny. And I can obviously she's just like doing this, right? It was kind of funny. I was already having fun. I forgot about I was outside. That moment, when you're having fun, you can't have two different emotions. When you get upset, you cannot have fun, right? When you're having fun, you cannot get upset, right? That's the rules, simple rules. So I forgot about, you know, the anxious and feeling anxious that moment. I had the feeling too. I forgot about it. I immediately started having fun. You know, like that, I could control. I could control how I feel. And the other lady, it was so cold, she was using grocery bag as kind of the covering her butt. So I can go on and on and on. I can go on and on and on. So that's the things. Like when, you know, you something you can control, right? When you know, when you can do it, when you can do how to control your emotion, how to switch your emotion, you can cope with change. We can cope with change. And then when change comes, yes, of course we react, but you're not gonna get caught. You're not gonna get drugged by fear and anxious, right? Thank you so much, Tessa. Thank you so much. So, I think I already talked about everything, right? Everything. Oh. And here's what I control and having fun. Have fun. So have fun. And then I could deal with the change, right? Like when something happens, when change happens, yes, it's scary. But you just ask yourself. You ask yourself that, right? Why am I feeling that way? And what can I do? What can I do? What can I be in control? Why are you feeling that way too? Why you feel? You know, like you ask a question, like what can I do with this situation? Like what can I do to make these things better, more fun? And you get a great answers. And you know what? I do believe, okay, I'm not a religious person, but when you have the questions, right? Those questions. And I do believe that guardian angel, universe, divine power, love, God, whatever you can call, it always just bring your head and just like shows the answer. Look at the lady. She's doing pee-pee dance. Isn't it funny? And then just like I cope with the fun stuff. I immediately just like, yes, she is funny. And I forgot about the situation too, right? So, oh, thank you. Oh, yes, I got the bangs anyway. That's change, right? Yes, that's kind of change. Cope with change. So, anyway, yes. So, how to cope with change? Yes, when change comes, yes, we are wired, right? We like to stay in comfort zone, inside the comfort zone, right? We don't want to get outside the box, get outside the comfort zone because it's scary. It's scary. But when COVID happened, we were forced to be out of comfort zone, right? And then, we were thrown outside of the comfort zone. And then some people, they cry, they stay worried, they anxious, they spend the day that way. But the others, like us, right, Tessa Marie? Like that, right? We just like, you know what? Yes, we felt anxious, but we just wiped our tears away. And we stood up, like just like that. And then, okay, what can I do to change situation to more fun or more living, right? Because, you know, this, or how it is you can ask the question, what should I do? Like always Tessa said, another mountain to climb, right? What should I do? And then we just, when you have the question, God give you your answer. What is the name of your angel? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it will come. It will come. One day, just like, that is the name of the angel. I am pretty sure. But my son, Tyler, he used to have a friend. He used to have a friend, actually, that I couldn't see. Speaker. He was just like, Speaker is here, right? So, you know, maybe that's my angel. I don't know. Yes, it will come, right? And then, yeah, so it's, okay. So the COVID is one big example. I use it today because it's easier for you guys to feel experience, right? To remember that. But when you live in your life, like I said earlier, change come. You get sick, you know, you lose someone you love, you might lose a house, you might get in a car accident, and then you might lose a job. You are forced to change your life. And then when those things happens, you have a choice. Are you going to stay crying, complaining, and stop living? Or, right, you can stand up and you can just like, what now? What should I do from now on? How can I take action? Small action, right? How can I take action to start walking, to doing, right? It's just going, walking my life from now on. So we always have a choice. We always have a choice. And so, you know what? This is you know, one thing I certain like I learned from my friend, right? I learned from my friend. You don't know for sure that you're gonna be alive tomorrow. Might as well. Why don't you choose choose to live a fun life, right? Choose the life you desire. Just start choosing small. But you know what? Doing small things better than doing nothing. That's so true, right? So anyway, thank you so much for listening, Tessa. And Asuka-chan, I had a friend came from Japan too. I really, really appreciate your time too, your time. So I trust that you know, what I learned today, what my lesson will help someone. What I learned, right? So because somebody's going through a change at this moment. Somebody's probably challenging. I'm not allowed to use struggle anymore. Thank you. Somebody's just challenging. It's difficulty right now. So it's my life today, my lesson I learned from, you know, today. I learned from it. It's past experience and like, you know, somebody's experience. I'm sure it will help someone. Thank you. Yes, definitely help someone. Yes. I'm sure you are the same way. That's why you show up every day, right? So on IG Lives. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I trust that you are having amazing and fantastic, absolutely beautiful weekend. All right. Thank you so much. Bye.